In this video, we are going to descale the Magnifica Evo, one of the most popular, best-selling super automatic machines in the world. What I'd first like to say is, why is descaling important? The reason is you want this nice machine to last you for a long time, and because tap water has a bunch of minerals in it, those can get clogged in the thin PTFE lines within the machine, and if they get clogged too much, then the machine simply cannot work anymore. So for that reason, we want to descale on a regular basis. This descaler solution breaks up those minerals and gets them out of there. At the end of the video, we're also going to take a look at how to clean your brew group and also how to maintain it. So before we get started, just a couple of tips. Number one, there is an indicator light on here telling you when it's time to descale, but you can descale any time. I would suggest doing this every 2 months at least, depending on what your coffee consumption looks like. Second tip is you can buy a multi-use bottle like this one. It's got 5 uses, a little bit cheaper that way. I'm gonna put links for this in the description box down below. But maybe my biggest tip is you have to make sure when you are doing the rinse cycles on this machine to fill it up here all the way to the max. If you don't fill it up all the way to the max, it may ask you to actually rinse a third time, and it may not fully complete. So for that reason, just follow these directions. I'm going to try to make it as succinct as possible. In order to start descaling, all you have to do is first prepare the machine. So number one, we have to remove this milk container. If your machine has got a milk container, remove that, put that off to the side. What we need instead is the water spout. Stick that guy on there. Boom. Then we have to remove our drip tray and our grounds catch tray, and also empty these guys out. Then what you have to do is prepare your water tank here. So you can see that I've still got some water in there. I'm going to dump that water out, and I'm going to remove the filter. We're going to remove the filter until the second rinse. Now all we have to do is pour in 100 milliliters of this descaler up until this line right here. All right, next step for our descaling solution is to fill up with water all the way up to this level B right here. All right, so now we're filled up with our descaler solution. We're going to put that into the machine. We're almost set to go. Of course, we need to be able to catch that water, so I'm going to use this container. All right, and now all we have to do to start the process is press and hold this descaling button for about 5 seconds. Okay, now you can see that the descaling light is illuminated, and it means we're about to start descaling. So first step, we are going to run the descaler through the machine. It's going to take a while. It can take in total for this entire process up to 45 minutes. So here we go. I'm going to press the button to start. I'll see you in a little bit. All right, now all the descaling liquid has run through the machine. We know that because the indicator is on here telling us we have to refill with water and move on to the next step, which is the first rinse. So what we got to do is empty this out. Got to go ahead and remove the drip tray and just empty this out to make sure that no water collected in there. And in fact, there was a little bit of water in there. And now we got to empty out the remnants here of the descaling solution. So I'm going to empty this and rinse it. After rinsing, I'm going to fill it all the way up to the max level. Put that back in the machine. And now we're ready to start our first rinse cycle. Just press the descale button again to do so. This will go a lot faster. Alrighty, now we see that the fill water icon is lit again. That means that we're done with our first rinse. We're gonna do our second and final rinse next. So first things first, we gotta empty out our receptacle here, as well as our drip tray. And we've got to prepare our tank here for the second and final rinse. I'm just going to empty out the water, rinse it, and refill it. So to prepare it for the last rinse, we can put our water filter back in, make sure that that's nice and primed, fill it up to max again, and stick it in the machine. So, receptacle, I have to support mine. Anyway, last and final step, let's press on the descaler one more time for a second rinse. All right, our second rinse is finished. Empty the receptacle, empty the drip tray. We're gonna top off with water. Put the tank back in the machine. And now you can see we're good to go. The descale light is no longer illuminated, and therefore we are finished descaling. All right, back to making tasty coffees, and you can be sure that the lines inside are nice and cleared out, descaled. For this next session, I'm going to show you how to remove the brew group and clean that out. All right, in order to remove the brew group, you have to turn the machine off so that the brew group will go back to its original position. All right, now that's completely turned off, we can remove the water tank. Just open up this little flap here on the inside, and then you've got these two red buttons. Pinch these inwards and pull outwards to release the brew group. Then rinse it well under running water. Don't use any solvents. After rinsing it nicely, you can put it into a container filled with water and submerge it for 5 minutes. After it's been submerged for 5 minutes, take it out, rinse it off again under the tap. I would suggest drying it. And if when you manipulate the plunger, if you hear any squeaking, then you can apply some food safe grease here. And then bring the plunger back into its home position, and you're good to go. Then you can take this brew group, stick it back into the machine until you hear it click. Close the flap. Put the water tank back in, and you're good to go. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. I hope that it was helpful, and I hope that it gives you a lot of good years with your Magnifica. It's a great little machine. And until next time, I say happy coffee drinking and happy espresso drinking. Bye now.